Hey everyone, Danielle here, and I have got my good friend, Mr. Damien Adler, and we are here
Hello.
for the Damien and Danielle download. Woo! I love this. This is my favorite thing that we do all month. It is our third episode. That's right, third episode. And as always, we are going to try to do it in a timely fashion. So once again,
Oh
pressing
yes, we'll
myself.
start the record. I'm going to do that too. We're going to make sure we've got this timing right. Let's
That's
see how we
right.
go.
And we love to talk. I mean, we just spent a little bit of time prepping for today, and we're going to do really good and keep it to that 20 minutes or so we said. So we're trying. All right, Damien. So thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds brilliant. So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about some releases and highlights, and then a little bit about some upcoming webinars and things that we have in the works. So first up, so releases and highlights. We have a few small things and a much bigger thing. So a couple of small things first. We've updated the advanced search filter name from organization name to business name. Just it's a small change, but just we found that some people would get a little bit kind of confused by that, so that's made it a little bit clearer. We've added a telehealth link to the appointment panel header. So when you click on an appointment now, you'll actually see in the top of that, there's a link where you can click to start the telehealth session. So that is designed to make it a lot easier, a lot faster to get to it. It was there. There's a few different ways you could get to it, but we found that people often didn't realize that there were these shortcuts. So this now, it's on the panel, click the button,
So you
and
can't miss
away
it.
we go.
You can't
You
miss
can't
it.
miss it, exactly.
Okay. I like
And
it.
particularly for new users too, we'd find sometimes it wasn't quite as obvious as it should be that is, that's a function, it's free to use, it's very easy. So we just wanted to make that clearer and just faster too. If you're going from appointment to appointment, you want to be able to just quickly click on it without having to kind of find that link or get to that page. Using stuff that's a little bit more varied. So that's a usability thing that we hope makes life a little bit easier.
I think it will.
Uh, I think so too. I like that one. We also have improved handling of conflicting replies to automatic reminder messages. So when an appointment reminder goes out, people have the option of having or asking clients to reply yes or no to confirm or cancel the appointment. It's optional. People don't have to use that part of it. They can just send a reminder if they like. But if you're using that, it's great because then when the client replies yes or no, it comes back in and updates the appointment status to confirmed or cancelled or whatever it might be. But there are some scenarios where the reply can have conflicting content. So if someone was to say, yes, no worries, something like that.
Right. Right.
There's different scenarios where it can just be a little bit confusing for the system to kind of figure out what the person is actually trying to do. So we've actually just improved the handling of that and improved the some notification that goes to the practice where that happens, but also just how a bit of behind the scenes logic to how that operates. So that's good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Um,
So
yeah,
now
yeah, it's
the practitioner can like see that, and if they get one of these conflicting replies, make sure that the appointment didn't accidentally get canceled or whatever because they've got that information in front of them.
that's right. That's right, and it's sort of an enhancement on how it's operated, and we do always, sometimes tweak this area. It's because we're always refining things as we
Yeah.
get feedback and look at how the system is dealing with certain things. So this we've basically done a little bit of tweaking and fine tuning to sort of try and eliminate anywhere we can where we can eliminate confusion or whatnot. Then of course that's always something that we're looking to do. So I think this should help.
I think so.
Next thing we've got is we've added a menu for contacts under people. So we had some feedback, over some time about that. Where are the contacts, or where do we kind of see that? So this is actually makes it easier to see and get straight to contacts. So in that kind of main menu on there, it again makes navigation quicker, and it makes it more intuitive, particularly if you're new to using Powdery and you're not familiar with where everything is. That way, it makes it nice and clear. Click on this, and you're straight there. So that
Awesome.
makes, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So it does make life a little bit more simple. Now,
You ready?
big thing,
The
the big
big
thing.
thing, the big thing. Like
Yes.
again,
So
there were a lot of things, and it's so it's funny. Like we're going through the smaller things, and we're like, do we even, because they're very important, but they're a little bit smaller, and we've got this really big feature that you guys have been working so long on, and I know you've got a great story, which you're going to give us the Cliff Notes version on, about why you chose this feature and chose to build it. And I'll just let the cat out of the bag. Everybody knows about it. If you don't know about it, you're missing out. It is the Health Practice Operations Manual in platform feature. Congratulations, Damien. This was an A+ win. I love it. So start us off. Tell us a little bit about this feature. Give us the Cliff Notes version, because we will do a long version. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we can talk. So we're going to do our best to hold in our excitement, but still tell you about how awesome this feature is, because it is so awesome. So let's go. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, it is a new element, or a new feature within Powdery, which is a hosted practice manual. So that what that means is, if you think of it like a document sort of management system, where we've got people can put in there all their policies and procedures and ways of doing things, categorize them nicely, make it very clear how what the policies and standards and so forth are for the practice. Have that right there in Powdery, so that the team members can access that. They can see very quickly how things should be done, what the policy is on a particular topic, or what the procedure is on how to do something. So this is really a massive step towards improving the quality of services that are being provided, but improving the consistency and safety of how a practice operates, right? By being able to demonstrate that this is like how things, how we might manage risk with a client that might be experiencing, suicidal thoughts, or how we might do something that's procedural about setting up or packing up, or how we onboard a new practitioner to make sure that all the things are sort of attended to, or what things a new patient might get when they first start. It's endless. There's so many different things that often live in people's heads. So it
How
is
many of
there.
these policies and procedures are in there again?
Right. So what we did, so there's the platform, which is one part of it, which people can utilize, which they can put their own policies and procedures they already have in there. But we also had a complete package, if you like, a range of policies and procedures written. There are over 100 of them that are already in there that people can actually use to as a base for their own. So they can go through and say, okay, I'm going to grab this one on whatever it might be, phone answering or something, tweak it, tweak the content we have in there to match your practice, and then just publish. So there's over 100 pre-written policies and procedures that people have in their accounts for free. There are no extra charges for this, and then they can build out their policies and procedures. So essentially, there's two elements: there's the platform to do it, which is in the accounts, plus this content which people can choose to use or not use. They might have an existing policy that lives somewhere. Maybe it's printed out on a folder somewhere collecting dust, or it's on some Google Drive or something where no one ever knows how to get to it, no one ever updates it. So they can transfer and copy their content across into their one in Powdery, or if they don't have one and are daunted by the idea of writing one, they can use the ones that are in there and just modify them, and it's always easier
Now,
to.
speaking of daunting, these policies and procedures weren't written by any Joe Schmoes off the street. I mean, we had like how many, like 3 or 4 professional documentation specialists, people, healthcare people that have been in the industry for years writing these documents, including, and then you were on board, you were in it. I know you were in it.
Yeah.
Donna, she was in it, like, but really we had over, what was it? Is it 60 years of experience in this field writing these documents? I mean, imagine if you had to do that, all on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, what a like a weight lifted off your shoulder that everybody at Power Diary now has accessible to them. And it's in the system, guys. It's in
Yeah.
the system, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. And you can put your logo on it. It automatically populates with your business name, so it's yours from activation on. You logo it. It is yours. I mean, what an awesome thing. In fact, I know I've seen across several social media platforms via our email, just some of the responses rolling in. There are people that are like, I was just about to do this.
It has been amazing, hasn't it? Like I guess we figured, didn't we, that it was going to be. We thought it was popular. We thought, that there was a need out there because other platforms, you don't see it, and it's something that all practices should have. To ensure the quality and safety and the standards. Particularly in regulated health industry, but most people, really don't have them or don't have anything up to date. So we kind of thought it would be popular, but it's been amazing, hasn't it? Like the response, there are just, I think already, what are we, 2 weeks in, and there are just hundreds of people that have now, have got it activated, edited, or they've put their own version in, and just in that space of time, it's been unbelievable, and it's every day. More and more people are, activating it, and some of them were good, weren't they? Like the comments about, there was some that were like, where people, it must have been like on their to-do list, which I think
Yeah.
this type of thing does sit there for a bit, and kind of, oh, I need to do that. But it's funny, isn't it? Some of the comments were around that. I was just about to do this,
Yes.
or oh my God, I've had this task, and now it's all
It's
done.
like we
And
read their minds. We read their minds. And really what that is, maybe we're mind readers over here. I mean, you knew there was this thing living out there that needed to be done to help our people on our system. And you had the foresight to be like, this is something we need to do. They're going to love it. And you guys did it. And I cannot speak enough about how great this document, hundreds of documents are. I mean, I've read them.
Yeah.
They are
It's
amazing. It's really fantastic, and the system behind it, what the engineering team really developed from the ground up.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I think it's one of those it's one of those things too where you know you hope you hope you're right, and you can always be wrong, right? So
wrong. Come
like
on now.
no, I know, but you never know when you're even when you're getting all the different feedback from users and things, and you think, okay, we think there's a need here for this. There's always that element of I hope we're right on this. Or I hope we've read this correctly, and so it's always a little bit of a gamble where you go with either what feedback we're getting or where we think the industry is going or what that need is, but you never quite know until you get it out there whether was that a good call or not. Look, it's great to see that it's what we're all about, right? Is trying to make life easier for people who run practices and provide healthcare, and so to see the response that we've had and to see that massive uptake so quickly, has, it's been great. It sort of gives everyone a bit of a buzz to go, yep, great. That's something that is actually, it's helping people. It's doing what we hoped it would do, and it's super exciting to kind of
Well,
to see
I,
that and see
I
it take
love the
life.
comments of how much is this going to cost me? How much what's the additional price? And we're like, no. We love you guys so much. We're spreading that love. And this is just included with the system. Because we know we've done the research. Here at on the marketing side, we did the research into what one policy costs. And it is upwards of $150. Like it is for one policy. We're talking hundreds.
I think this sort of goes to that thing too about what you're saying. That getting a whole team of industry experts and people to write this content and really get that collective experience together. And I think it's one of the advantages of utilizing a platform like Parado, because there's an economy of scale that we can utilize to benefit our customers. So we can have that sort of that once, if you like, that initial kind of cost of getting all that done. And like you said, it was a lot of work over a long time, but it'd be very difficult, like for an individual practice or a small or a medium practice, even some of the large practices, to dedicate that amount of sort of resources, to doing it. And so, it's great to be able to do that. And like I say, we've included it for free because we really want, just people to have the tools to grow their businesses, do it in a way that's scalable and safe and reduces the workload for the practice owners and for the practice managers and everyone. So it's one of the sort of fun things about what we do, to be able to think about how do we always improve stuff or make life easier.
The positive feedback we've gotten. It just really it makes you know you did the right thing, and there's been such overwhelming positive feedback. So if you guys have not, I'm looking directly into the camera now. If you guys have not gone ahead and set up your practice operations manual, you need to do it right now, right?
Yeah, right? And super simple. You can go in, and activate it. If you go under, if you don't have it set up at the moment, if you go in under your under support, under setup, you'll be able to see it in there. So just click on setup and then configuration, and you'll see practice manual there. If you have set up access, if you haven't done it before, you just sort of there's a what do you call it, like a terms and conditions sort of thing on it, just to say, hey,
like
this
is
that terms
and conditions. We'll go with that.
Just to say, well, we want to make it's right. We want to make sure we didn't release all the policies and procedures into practices without the practice owner deciding what they want in there. So we had to put in a step to make sure that people have control over it all and can choose what they have. So you click on that, then a menu will appear, or it's clickable on the left-hand side, and then you can get into it and edit it and publish, unpublish, whatever you want. So it's good.
And we have a whole webinar. So we did a launch webinar that I will go ahead and link in this video, so you guys can go ahead and watch it too. Get some little insider tips. Paul's on there with you. We got Fiona on there. We got the dream team there, and they talk all about the practice manual. So we'll link it into this video, and you can head on over there and watch it. But yes, get in there now. There's a Help Scout article. I know you're getting the little guy, the little beacon coming up, and he's telling you about this too. So if you haven't done it yet, shame on you. You're missing out. Get over and do it. And we'll keep reminding you in the meantime and put out some friendly reminders. But you guys, get in there. It's some great work, and I know you're going to love it. And I'm really stoked about it. So I know you are too.
It really is super exciting to have it out there in
Change
the
the
hands
game.
of real
Change the
people.
game,
That's
Damien.
right. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Indeed. Now, mindful of the time because
Oh, yes.
we're doing our best. Yes. So, some other news. Did you want to talk about the upcoming webinars that we've
Yes.
got? We've got a couple on the go.
Absolutely. So, okay, we finished our feature releases. You're all going to love it. Head over to the practice manual. Now, if you haven't tuned in to our most recent webinar, you can find it under go on our webpage and go down to webinars, and you can see powerdiary.com/webinars. There's the short link there, and you can see all of the recent webinars we've done. We recently did one on the top 3 tips for marketing your health practice that me, Damien, and Fiona did. It was super fun. Gives you it's a 1-hour action-packed session. We talk about all the must-dos for marketing your health practice. You got to head over there because it's going to just benefit you and your practice. And I know you're going to love it. And it's now live on that page. Now, what do we got upcoming? Now, this one I'm super excited about because I'm ready for you to demystify these sessions packs for me. So this one is all Damien. He's going to get in there, tell you all about session packs, give you, what they are, why they matter, how to set them up. I know you're excited about this because I think this is like an underutilized type of thing that people just, maybe there's, again, let's demystify it. They're just a little confused on, but it's a really awesome tool within Power Diary. So you're going to do an hour webinar for this one. It's at the end of the month. You could register for it on that webinars page, which I'll put the link in here as well. And you can go ahead and register for it. But are you super excited about that one? I think it's
Yeah, I am.
coming up
It's
here.
a really the session packs. I think you're right. They're one of the most flexible sort of features that we have that can be used in so many different ways. But sometimes people, because they can be used so many different ways, sometimes people don't realize the different applications that it has. And in a nutshell, wherever we have customers, all around the world, it doesn't matter what market we're in, there is usually a requirement for various reasons to track elements to do with session numbers or the amount of money that is being spent or being utilized. So maybe an insurance has provided some pre-authorization, or there is a budget that someone's able to use. It might be sessions that have been authorized, or that there's been a certain block of sessions that are pre-sold, perhaps. For some, in some contexts, so people might pre-buy a 10-pack of either therapy or massage or something, and then we'll utilize those as we go. And we know that tracking things like money or sessions or even time per client is something that people struggle with. And so session packs solve a lot of these problems, where you can actually set it up and make it easy to track those sorts of things. And they get used a lot, but even so, we still will sometimes notice when we're in support that maybe we're doing, working with a customer that has been with us for some time, and we'll make a comment about, hey, you could use session packs, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that sort of application. So the goal here is actually just to talk about what they can do, how to set them up, the different ways they can be used, and again, hopefully reduce the just the amount of work or the amount of kind of manual tracking or things that people might otherwise be doing, and importantly, making sure they don't run over and end up servicing clients that don't have the appropriate funding or sessions or whatever in place for that.
Awesome.
So that's
It's
coming
gonna
up.
be a great session. I know, and I think we've already got a lot of people registered. So I know people are really excited to get in the nitty-gritty of that. So awesome.
That's the number of registrations is amazing, isn't it? We've started this earlier this year, the regular ones, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. So we're going to take it as a win.
I think it's a definite win. People are really excited about these webinars, and again, they're just very useful. And again, it's part of what Power Diary does, is we want to help you better your practice. So that's why we have all different topics from the marketing to the insider tips of like session packs and all that stuff. And you do a really good job because I know we make you go, you're the star. You're the star. And speaking of Damien being the star, if you want to listen to us now,
I'll just put an objection on the
webinar-
record. Sorry, I'll put an objection on the record. I know. We are most definitely a team effort, but I get the pleasure often of being the one to get out and talk about it, and of course I love it because I love, it's good fun and it helps people, but really we got a whole team of stars that make it all happen. So I get the front person job, but I
without a
will.
doubt, we have a team of superstars. They're not just stars, they're superstars. We're talking the best in the biz without a doubt. And we just throw you out there because you got the gift of gab, my friend. Job of explaining things. So it's all good. And speaking of that, if you want to listen to any of these, so this the Damien and Danielle download, you want to listen to a webinar, we've got a podcast and it's in the podcast store. And I, like a silly Willy here, I've got to pull up the name of it because it's in the podcast store. And of course, now I'm going to waste my time looking for it. Oh, here we go. And I've got it right here. The Practice Power Up. And you can head on over and listen to all of these things as a podcast. So if you're driving in the car and you got 25 minutes to kill, listen to the Damien and Danielle download, listen to a webinar. We're going to get them all up there. So head on over and check that out. Available in the Apple Store. It's also on Spotify. It's a bunch of different places. So check that out. All right, let's talk real quick. We're going to wrap things up because we are at 25 minutes. My timer just told me. Let's talk about some team updates because I know we've got some great new team members that we just want to shout out to real quick and let everyone know.
Yeah, exactly. We always have a bunch of stuff happening, but I just wanted to, we've had a couple of really good additions to the team in the last couple of weeks. So we've got Diana starting with us, who will be the global customer success manager. So this is a new position that is kind of overseeing all the customer support and customer success. Very excited by Diana. I think she's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think you've met her. She's so she's about to start with us shortly. So that will be fantastic. And then we've also added to our privacy and compliance team, which we often don't, talk as much about, like just what happens, because it sometimes is one of those behind the scenes things. But we have team members are working on always on compliance and on our security and looking at all the different standards around the world, where things are headed, and making sure that we're on top of everything. And so we have grown new year. So Philippe has joined in that capacity and is doing some more stuff on our with our security accreditations and all the rest of it. So it's really really good. Often like I say, not at the pointy end. Often not seen to be, like, not in there's so much stuff they do, but it's sort of often behind the scenes. So, but super important, because healthcare data is some of the most sensitive data that we need to always be making sure across all the different regions that we're doing everything, and we sort of lead the field in those areas, and so those team members are fantastic and make a massive contribution behind the scenes. And so anyway, very excited to be to have him join the team.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him. He's great too.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's been talking to all the different areas, hasn't he? And getting understanding of exactly how all the system goes. And we've had, he's sort of really getting kind of up to speed with all the data processing and all the things that are in place. And, he's just will continue building out some of those things. And it's good. It's really, I actually quite enjoy a lot of that side of things as well. That it's kind of it's good to see what happens. What happens across industries, how different regions, how their laws evolve over time, and making sure that, if there's a draft law that's going to come out in 6 months, that we know about it and we're ready
Right.
for it, and
And we're on top of it and we take care of it.
exactly.
That's why we're growing that team.
That's right. So
Yeah.
that's
Awesome.
it.
Awesome.
It's never change, never stops changing that space. It's always evolving, but that's good because that reflects the reality of the world. That there are always different threats and different things out there that we need to be on top of, and so it's good to have that team
It is.
there helping us with everything.
Awesome. All right. So now it brings me, drum roll, to my favorite segment where Damien graced us all with his wisdom, with his the month. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got the insider scoop. This one's a good one, and it's going to relate back to something we just spoke about. So head it on.
Yeah. The thing that I've sort of been thinking about a lot, and a message, really, is that owners of practices and practice managers and practice owners, there's a lot of things that they kind of worry about and they think about. I know that from firsthand experience and growing a practice, that there's always things, and the more you can reduce that, the better, right? And really, one of the biggest kind of, I think, sources of stress what if something goes wrong? What if whether it's a practitioner or another team member or something, does something that is below expectations, or does something that is contrary to one of the kind of standards or guidelines, and people make complaints, or there's informal complaints to regulatory bodies and all those sorts of things that it's just part of the normal operation of a health practice. And even with the best team in the world, there's human error, there's things that can go wrong. So that's I think most people could probably relate to that, and there's a certain responsibility that people carry when they're owning the practice, and it's them. So the more things that we can reduce that stress and cause background stress, the better. And one of the things, and this comes back to the practice manual, as you said, is that by documenting and capturing how you want things done, and what the expectations are, and making sure that the team's kind of aware of that and they have access to that information, it serves two really important things. That it sort of works to prevent problems happening, because people do have the information, and if they're flustered, something's happened, or they're not thinking quite right, they've got that really easily accessible access to that and can see. So you have a prevention effect. And number two, that if something does go wrong, but you have all the things documented and accessible, and the person didn't choose to follow it, then at least it provides the practice owner with really a strong degree of protection, because they've kind of discharged to a large part their duty to provide that information and provide that guidance to the team. And so when there are those processes in place and policies in place to show how something should be done, and it's not followed, then it's a very different kind of conversation, a very different, if you're depending on what it is, but a very different sort of set of consequences, or a set of the way that plays out. And so we all carry, if you like, a element like a duty of care and a duty of responsibility. And so by making sure that as owners or as managers, we're discharging our part by providing the information, the training, making sure it's accessible to people. That's a huge tick in the right box, to say, yeah, we've attended to that, and I think knowing, when those things are in place, ultimately people tend to sleep better at night, right? Just knowing that, okay, that's there. And, ideally you want it to work preventatively, but it does also give you a peace of mind.
Were you up late last night thinking about this one? Because I feel like you lost some sleep coming up with this one, but I agree with you. What you're saying is 100% correct. Like, you want to go to sleep knowing your business is taken care of. And what you've outlined here, what you're saying, the practice manual, is going to help
Yeah.
you solve that, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right. That's really the one of the. I mean, there's lots of benefits, of course, of businesses do better when they're there's a whole lot of things and why other reasons to have everything, but just at a very base level, knowing that that's covered off is huge. And that's sort of a good, just provides that extra layer of protection and peace of mind, and that's. I
Peace
think it's
of
good.
mind.
We've got other things we can't. There's other things in the world we can't influence that worry us, or that we could be. But this is one
Right.
where hopefully we've made it easier now for people with this, to be able to do it. Allow people to sleep easier, enjoy their life more, and know that that's all taken care of.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. So that is our Damien and Danielle download for this month, episode 3. Damien, thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We cannot wait till next time. And I'm a little sorry. I believe we went over, but that's okay. We had a lot to talk about.
We did indeed. Thanks very much, Danielle.
All right. Till
Bye.
next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.